Okay, our last set of plots are going to be we're going to use some error bar plots, which are very similar to box plots, but we're going to use those and look at strategic effects. So to do this properly, we're going to be using the select cases product again. So again, if condition. And what we're going to look for is we're going to only be looking at distinguishing behavior. So we're going to start with progeny action equals 0. And we're going to need these parentheses. So we're going to hit and then the parentheses. Judge of opinion equals 1, or judge opinion equals 2. So what we're interested in here is the majority coalitions and how they were constructed for case outcomes that distinguished the original landmark. We're going to see if those vary on the basis of divided government and panel construction. So let's go forward and see what we get. If we select those, again, make sure you filter, don't ever delete. Also, when you get done with these kind of select cases, make sure that you come back to this menu and select all cases again, because otherwise you'll be doing your plots and they won't look right. So after you get done using this product, make sure you come back and select all the cases again. Okay, we're going to run with that as is. It's going to filter it. If we close this window, we'll see that we're going to look at all these kind of progeny cases where we're these progeny positions where we're distinguishing. Okay, good. Select graphs, legacy design, and error bars. We're going to do simple ones, summaries for groups of cases. And here what we're going to do is we're interested in our traditional point measure again, because we're going to be interested in the continuous variable. We're going to be looking at follow, and follow helps us, you'll see in a little bit. And then down here, on terms of the columns, I'm going to create or panel these by interbranch. And so you'll see this works out very nice. Click OK. And there we go. And so this is actually a really interesting plot, because what it shows is distinguishing behavior is under unified is here, and even under divided, right? It's limited to the kind of liberals in those situations. But once you get unified Republican, then there's a real effort to kind of distinguish. And this is Griswold, so that kind of makes sense. Okay, so not bad. You got a decent relationship there. So let's bring this up and let's kind of do some quick editing. Let's create this window. Let's affect the chart size. Let's do just our 300, 600 for these. That's fine. Apply that. Let's go down here if we can. Close this. Don't really need that. So let's delete that and get it out of there. Let's get this out. For whatever reason, it will not let me do follow. And let's do the -1, 0.25. Okay, and so this is important to change that scale, because you see what looks like a huge difference is not so different, right? So you get some moderates here distinguishing under unified, under divided government. It's even, kind of the moderates are there, but the Republicans under unified Republican control, the Republicans start really distinguishing or chipping away at Griswold. So it's an evidence of kind of strategic constraints in the decision-making process. Let's close this, and we have our first plot. Okay, so our next plot, and our very last one, is going to be, we're going to have to go back and select this cases again. So let's go up here, and let's change the case Here we're going to be interested in all the cases, whether they were followed or distinguished. And so we're just interested in the people in the majority coalitions, right? And so what we're going to do is those who are either in the majority or concurring. So this is going to be majority cases, all. Select on OK. That'll run it again. It'll filter and do that. And then we're going to run our plot again. So let's go up here, graphs, error bars. We're going to do a simple error bar. We're going to define it. We're going to use traditional point up there, follow, but this time we're going to use whistleblower. We had inner branch, but now we're going to have whistleblower over in that column. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we'll get a plot that looks something like this. Let's double click this and clean it up a little bit. Okay, so first thing, bring up the chart size, do our standard old kind of size, 300, 600, something along those lines. Gives a little bit more space. Let's get rid of this follow. I figured out how to do that since I made. So if we click on down here, close that. Alright, then we double click. It'll bring up. Now, where is it? That's what we want. Labels and ticks. And then it's under labels, display access title. And we'll just click that off and get rid of it. Up here, I'm just going to delete this thing. Delete, and it'll go away to wherever it was. 99% confidence interval. The rest of this all looks pretty good. And so let's take a look at what this plot tells us. First of all, in terms of unified panels, we didn't have anybody follow it in unified panels. In unified Republican panels, we didn't have anybody follow it either. It's only when you had a whistleblower or two-party representation did anybody followed it whatsoever. And it seems to be that the whistleblower does come out a little bit effectively here, right? That the only time when we had somebody actually follow Griswold was when you had multiple party representation on the panel. And in here, the Democratic whistleblower tend to bring the Republicans along. Notice how that worked. Here, moderate Republicans tend to bring along the more liberal. So, not bad, not bad. Tells us what we're looking for. Close this editor. Save this. And we should be good. Those are our two plots for the last task of the assignment.